Hello and welcome to a high-level game of Beyond All Reason. So I'm casting this game for you today, and if I'm honest with you, it is an absolute banger of a game sent to me by none other than Cyphos himself. Now, Cyphos is the blue team captain. He's going to be spawning in the eco/tech spot. So the difference between those is if you want to tech, then you're going to tech up to T2 as fast as possible, and then provide your team with the T2 construction bots. Alternatively, if you're going to eco, then you're going to focus less on handing out bots and more on going for economy, such as aphises, fusions, trying to build that up as fast as possible. A lot of the times, if you are going to go eco, you're going to end up buying T2 off of another player that's teching, such as the Geo player, but it's best to talk to the Geo player beforehand just to double check that he is going to be doing that. And next to him, we've got Blossom in the air spot, another player. In fact, I've recently featured both of these players on the channel, so they're certainly no strangers to this channel. Blossom, recently I featured an air build of his where he goes for liches, and I believe we're going to see this today as well. So Armada commanders have a little bit of a bonus in the early game as far as economy goes, and that's simply because the wind turbines are 37 metal each, whereas the Cortex, if I take a look at the Cortex commander here, they are 45 metal. Now, Cortex does have slightly cheaper solars, as you can see. J2 man on the Geo spot has gone Cortex, and he's actually used the solar panels. That's simply because they're a little bit more reliable as far as energy income is concerned. He's going to use that to get the grave robbers out, which is an even better source of energy when reclaiming foliage. So if you take a look down here, they're going to have up to 58 energy income a second. Very good with a either like an energy storage. So as you can see there, allows them to bank up energy when moving between trees and overflowing to the rest of his team. Bansoma, he's actually gone for hovers on the longshore. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest with you. Hovers do not trade very well against naval units or the land units. And the reason being is because they're so expensive. So the Cayman 300 metal, while it is a relatively mediocre battler at best, you are paying a premium, so you're paying extra for the ability to go on sea and on land. As far as harassing units go, the goons are actually fantastic. I'd argue they are the only real reason you want to be building hovers. Alternatively, the mangonel can hit certain things such as the Geo from the actual sea as well, simply because of the arc of the rocket. But again, they really do not match up against the naval counterparts or the land counterparts. Now, on the Geo, we've got J2 man, just finished up the Geo there. I've just mentioned him. He's actually going to rely on the grave robbers, the res bots, for the energy income until he can get the Geo up, which is going to provide him a massive start. With him being Cortex, I believe he is probably going to end up going for a Tsar Rush. So it's a T2 vehicle. It is very good against T1. Little bit of a skirmish in the middle by Sneaky on the front line. His frontline compadre Lapidus is actually going to come down and give him a hand. I love to see him trying to claim the middle spot first. The actual rocks, the debris that starts off in the middle of this is very, very valuable. So when you very first start off, trying to claim as much ground as possible is the aim of the spawn. So as you can see here, I've got the grave robber selected. I'm very used to being Armada, so Lazarus is just ingrained in my head. You can see that even just this little bit of rocks that's left, there is 1,000 metal almost. When it first starts out, I believe it is almost closer to 2,000 metal in the middle. So a lot of the times you'll see people actually get fed wind turbines. They'll build the lab here, build that one mechs, and they'll go straight into units and the res bots to steal that metal in the middle and fund their military. On the pond spot, we've got Good Luck. He's actually already sent a few units and the commander down to help the front. That's the main sort of aim from this spot, is to aid the front line A lot of times there could be 3 players on each side for the front line. But it is also to tech up a little bit in the meantime. So send units to the front line, but you are also allowed to put a bit more money into your economy. As you can see here, got 2 construction turrets up, 2 combots making wind, and 1 making converters. Next to him in the GOC spawn, I have no idea. In fact, another player that I've featured on the channel, he's got a fantastic tech build where he gets a sub 4-minute T2 lab. He's actually going up against Helicopter, which has made a beeline for his shore, which is I think this is a fantastic play. Whenever you're playing on the Long Beach ocean side, such as Helicopter down here, once you've claimed this with your comm, walking your comm or flying your comm down here is always fantastic. The reason being is naval units require a lot of metal. So if I take a look at this Riptide, 420 metal compared to the 2,800 energy. So it's incredibly metal dense as far as units go. If I take a look at, say, a Centurion here, 270 metal for 3,100 energy. Whereas air units are much... Ooh, almost lost the aircraft there. You want to be careful about that. If you lose the transport while your commander's in the air, that's a dead commander. It's one of the reasons why he's gone for an AA tower there. And the reason why sometimes you'll see like fighters come down here. Either that or a herring will come down here and try and intercept the comm going towards the island. And so denying these 2 mexes and actually pumping the metal back into his own economy is going to be a massive deal. He's also protecting it here with 3 light laser towers. So not only has I have no idea got to bring his commander down here to deal with it, but he's also going to miss out on that metal. Now, Helicopter, he could potentially move up. He could potentially even produce a land lab here and actually start pumping units into the base. As you can see, there is nothing here for I have no idea, as that is... It's simply because I have no idea has reclaimed his lab and he's actually gone for the naval units, which he's going to try and pump out now. So it provides a very big window for Helicopter to make a lot of problems. Now then, on the other side, there's quite a bit of fighting going on in the front line. You have Emelanson, I believe that's how you say it, on the front line producing thugs here, and you've got his partner Darnasuchus. I believe that is a dinosaur, actually, a little fluffy raptor, a cool name, on the front line with him. Is going to be producing rocket bots to try and push this enemy out. As you can see, the blue team has got quite a few mechs here. They've pushed out quite far, so they've claimed these 4.3 mexes, which is also very important because, again, these mexes are double bubble, so they're worth almost 2 times the amount that these mexes are worth, and so claiming these just adds a significant amount to your economy on the front line. There is a bombing run here by, I believe it's Milk Dragon on the red air team. Let's see how much he can get. He actually gets the so he gets the transporter there, transporting the T2 constructor on its way down. And he's got 2 T1 bombers here. T1 bombers don't do a particularly large amount of damage. He gets the constructor as well. He's doing so much damage with this. It's going to actually take out the wind turbines there. Thankfully, Blossom manages to get a anti-air turret up, so he's going to be able to shut this down, but not... He's received too much damage, I think. So not only has he lost his air capabilities, his energy producing capabilities, sorry, but he's also lost his air constructors, which is a big blow. He's actually going to have to go into either a bot lab, into another air lab, or he's going to have to buy a T1 con from his allies. The Tsar is on the front line from J2 Man, and it is going to start attacking this front line and mincing it. So Tsar's got a very long range, and it also has a large splash radius. As you can see there, taking out 3 units at once. Very good against T1. In fact, there's a spy bot coming out here from the red player. So he's managed to go into T2 as producer. Is he going to EMP it? Oh, he's got it with the EMP. He's got it with the EMP. Like to see units jump on this Tsar, get rid of it. Alternatively, you can bring the commander up, degun it. You can see there's massive amounts of pings there. People trying to get it. Is he going to get it? Yes, he's got it. That was a beautiful degun there. That Tsar is incredibly expensive, especially this early on. Fantastic plays there by the red player. It's Starlight Appreciator. Going into a few spy bots just before he's finished the T2. I believe he'd transport it with the transport. You can see it's there. Yeah, so he brought that down to try and deal with the SAR. Beautiful plays there. And then in the air position, as I mentioned, Milk Dragon. Another very skilled player. In fact, Milk Dragon has been playing this game for quite a while now. I remember his name from probably about a year ago or so I used to play. So, lovely to see him still in the game. Helicopter, as mentioned, on the long sea. And then we've got Enigma on the Geo. Actually already getting his T2 up, which is what I like to see. He's got his own SAR out now. A little bit late at 10 minutes. It's actually very late. Oh, quickly. Sussy Worm going on against Bansoma. I believe Bansoma walked his commander along. Walked up here, took them. I'd like to see the trade happening. So I believe Sussy Worm... If Sussy Worm can get hold of a aircon or a transport from Milk Dragon, potentially. Not sure if he's got a transport actually still available. A lot of the times they do end up getting lost to fighters. He doesn't. Oh, he's got an air constructor. Oh, he's got an air constructor. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. So the aircon. So when you trade these commanders, essentially, that's the best way to deal with a commander that is pushing your side there. Likewise down here, best thing I have no idea could have done is walked his commander in and traded his commander for helicopters. And that provides the wreckage of both. Now, you only want to do this if you have access to that wreckage. So as you can see here, Sussy Worm, I'm assuming, actually realized what was going to happen here. So he commissioned the construction aircraft a little while ago. And that's why the construction aircraft was in position, ready to jump as soon as the commanders detonated. Helicopter has won this naval position. So he's going to start laying the hurt on this player. While you can't see everything, you can actually just A-click the mexes. I believe they are only just in range of this side of the mex. So if he builds the mex slightly over this way, they can't hit it. But I believe they can hit it there. And also the lab and that as well. So you can really deal a lot of damage for this player and make their life hell. And then the last player to introduce is the Dwarf. This is quite a late introduction at 12 minutes into the game, but it's been very action-packed lately. Well, even right from the start, actually. He's going to be pumping out T1 units just to push onto the front line, produce a bit of vision. While the Rascals don't actually do any, well, they don't really do any damage whatsoever, they do provide vision for these longer range units, such as the Quaker mobile artilleries. You've got the rocket bots as well. So it's mainly the vision that they are helping there. So if I select this, go on to player view. While the radar is good, it is not very accurate. So when you're trying to shoot units with long range units, if you take a look at this here, if I was to turn player view off, you can see that it's not particularly accurate at all. You can see it's saying that units are spread all over the place, when in fact they are actually just stood there. Unless you have T2 pinpointers, a vision is a must with the longer range units. Sussy Worm has no AA here as such, but he's just going into construction turret. He's got no AA here actually. Blossom's already got a Lich out. He's going to make short work of these naval units with this Lich. He needs to try and get AA up ASAP. I mean, he's building a herring, but they're just not going to output the damage. Neither is a slingshot. As long as he targets it, that is. If he leaves it be, then yeah, he's going to target it. So that, I believe, is going to be the end of Sussy Worm in that position. I have no idea. Completely lost the water. Unfortunately, he's been pushed off that completely. I really don't like this. So if you do lose the sea as this Geo player, unfortunately, there isn't really a whole lot you can do regarding these two mexes as well as this Geo. Unfortunately, it is going to be lost. All Helicopter has to do is tech into T2, which he is right now, as you can see, sorry. Build a messenger, and the messenger is going to come down. It is going to be in range of all of this. Going to be in range of all of this. And it is also going to be able to take out this player and half of this player. So I believe the range stops off about there. So unfortunately his lab's going to be in the way. A lot of his eco is going to be in the way. The messengers are going to do a significant amount of damage. With the messengers being rockets as well, and not plasma, the keepers are not going to do anything to stop them actually. Nothing at all. So if you look in T2, you've got the overseer here. You've got the keeper for the armada, which is a plasma deflector, which is like a little shield that will stop projectiles coming towards your base. But it does not affect the missile units, unfortunately. Lich actually coming down to the front line and trying to hold off there. I really don't like him throwing that away. Liches are incredibly expensive, actually. So if you take a look here, Lich, 2,200 metal, 46,000 energy, which is absolutely bonkers with how much resources they require. Whereas the heavy strategic bomber, 310 metal, 18,000 energy. So that's something to be careful of. Red player actually coming in with his own Lich. This is going to do a significant amount of damage. Yep, aims for the lab. He's going to try for the blue player. If he lands it on the fusion reactor will detonate. I'm not sure if he sees this. No, he sees the green player's got AA in that, as well as the fighters. He's going to go for this player instead. I really don't like the target in there. If you go for the Geo, I believe he would have got the Geo off there, even detonated there. That Geo is going to blow up and deal a significant amount of damage. In fact, we've got some pawns leaking through here, dealing plenty of damage to good luck, good luck. That is unfortunate, managing to pull them through here under the cover of the destroyers. Sneaky, that's this player here. That is a very sneaky commander. Can they see that? They can see it, but unfortunately with the inaccuracies of the radar, they are unable to hit it. He's actually going to trade the commanders. Oh, this is a fantastic trade. That is a beautiful trade. That commander is surely dead, so he might as well take his enemy down with him. Pawn's still not cleared up. One thing you can do, if you select this construction turret, you can actually eat the pawn, so you can reclaim that pawn. And it's relatively... it doesn't take too long at all. I would like to see him do that. Is he going to do it? No, it's just auto repairing the wind turbines. You can see you've got some pawns here of Cyphos coming to clean that up. He's going to do his best there. So, Bansoma has completely taken the ocean. He's actually gone up to a messenger himself, which is the natural thing to do. Rattlesnake has been built up here by Sussywem. Not a big fan of that. As you can see, there's a messenger already down here. But he has gone for a prude on the geothermal spots. That's not too bad at all. Again, the rattlesnakes are expensive, and it's not really going to stop messengers from coming in with jamming ships and actually taking that out. Jamming ships are not expensive at all. Whereas they're 120 metal for a jammer ship. So that's something to bear in mind. Helicopter taking full advantage of the ocean and what it has to offer. Actually going into a few cruisers. And he's got the messenger ships coming up. Yep. Okay, so I have no idea he's doubled down on this and he's gone for an advanced geothermal. Oof. I really don't like that. Again, once you lose this spot, you essentially... You can't inhabit this part of the ocean. It's just too close. It's in range of messenger ships. If they've got a jamming ship there, there's no way of stopping this, unfortunately, unless you make units yourself. Well, actually, they're targeting the rattlesnake right now. I'd like to see them just target the geo. Just A-click where the geo is, and you're going to have no problems whatsoever. Whilst I'm actually going in with a scout there. Don't believe... Yep, that's another scout as well. Don't believe there's any combat units there. The resbots actually rezzing the commander. Now, I would prefer to see them just eat it. It allows the metal to go back into the war machine much faster. But if you can get away with a res, you can get away with a res. That's another commander. Very powerful unit with that D-gun. In fact, you could argue it's one of the best units in the entire game. Able to cloak, able to one-shot any unit. Goes nuclear when it explodes. That's 100% a good trade there. Actually got a tremor out from this player. Tremors, not particularly good, if I'm honest with you, but they're now fun. They are so much fun to use. Just A-click an area and it will rain fire down upon them. There's the Geo exploding, as I mentioned, and everything else going with it. I have no idea, unfortunately losing a lot of his economy there. He does have fusions up, but I would have liked to have seen him double down on that. Sprint is coming through, dealing significant amount of damage. I feel like this is maybe the third or fourth time. Good luck, as I had a few leaks come through straight into him. And Cyphos has started on a Starlight push. So he's going for the T2 lab down here. So he's actually transferred a few of the construction turrets. I expect he's used... Yeah. So he's actually transferred these construction turrets, these and these. As you can see, they're at a bit of an angle, which is a little bit odd, but that is what happens when you pick them up with a transport and you place them down. Now then, the reason he's brought them down here... Oh, another explosion. It's just the messengers. Yep. So as I mentioned, the messengers have quite a long... In fact, the messengers actually have enough range to completely eliminate this player. So he does need to build somewhere else, unfortunately. It's going to be very difficult to contest these messengers on the shoreline. As you can see, there's a lot of ships guarding them. But anyway, the Starlight push has started. So you've got plenty of pawns as the frontline screen. You've got the AA, which is going to be vital. And you've got the Starlights themselves, and he has backed it up with Jaguars. So this is an incredibly powerful push. The Starlights, I believe, are exceptional when it comes to the slow push. In fact, I'd argue they're some of the best slow pushing units in the entire game. They come out relatively quickly. Yes, they cost a lot of energy to upkeep, and they do require vision, but they have 950 range. Snipers, on the other hand, is another unit that comes to mind. Only has 900. And I don't believe the Sniper does quite as much damage as the Starlights. But obviously they have a 360 firing arc. Now the reason the pawns have gone in first is to provide vision. Pawns have quite a good vision range. As you can see, he's also got a few radar vehicles in there. The radar vehicle has a massive vision range as well. As you can see there, that's the edge of the vision range down here. So that is a phenomenal thing. Backed up by Junos to take out any sort of jammers at all. Actually got a commander going down there, I believe, trying to stop this. But the Starlights have one main weakness. Well, they have a few weaknesses, actually. That was a lie. So they can only fire 180 degrees, and they're very slow and sluggish. So that's something to bear in mind. And they can only fire a 1 unit per blast, and that's why the Jaguars are so good for backing them up. So the Jaguars splitting up now, actually going for this player, going around behind. If uncontested, they're going to make short work of your economy, while the Starlights continue to push. But the Starlights are a little bit vulnerable to being flanked, because they take a little while to turn around, and they can only fire in a 180 degree arc. So any sort of units coming in from this side, such as these Tigers, are going to cause quite a bit of an issue. That is the reason for the Jaguars coming around behind. Another reason is to stop sort of spam. So pawn or grunt spam is another way of dealing with these Starlights. Unfortunately, the Starlights are a bit volatile, so if you have them grouped up, they will detonate and chain react through each other, or anything around it. That's why he's got them spaced out relatively nicely, as you can see. Quite a lot of drawing. A couple of people very unhappy in this game with this push. The one thing I would like to see with this push is I don't think he's got any. No, it doesn't look like it. Resbots, actually. So when it comes to a push like this, you're going to leave quite a lot of metal in its wake. And not to mention the Starlights actually have a decent amount of health, so it doesn't seem like it, but Starlights do have 3,500-ish health. Depending on the rank, of course. But a few resbots following them and repairing them up is going to be absolutely magnificent. Not to mention the fact that they can eat up any of the wreckage left behind and fuel that straight back into more Starlights, more Jaguars, and continue the push even more. Are they going to be able to get the advanced fusion? Target it down, target it down. It's going to produce a massive chain reaction. Yeah, there we go. Lovely. It's always nice when you see that happen. There was a bit of a flank there from the red player with the Jaguars. As you can see, this player is actually sending a load of grunts in. The Jaguars are going to be able to deal with those grunts quite nicely. They are quite good at stopping spam. Got some fiends coming through, trying to flank these units. I've actually got some sumos mixed in there, which is a lovely addition. Sumos actually being the laser bots. They're very good against the smaller units, such as grunts, spawns, etc. The ones that Starlights will struggle with. Starlights actually take a little while in between their shots. So if there are too many targets, they can be overwhelmed pretty easily. In fact, the red player was actually left. So the red player is left and has been taken over by helicopter, as well as I believe that was Sussy Worm. He's also left. He's been taken over by the yellow player. So helicopter now, a man against the world. Got a T3 Gauntry just finishing up here. He's going to go into a demon and he's going to try and help stop this push. A demon is a very good choice here, simply because there are so many units on the field. So the demon is going to do quite a bit of splash damage. In fact, got a load of Jaguars coming in from behind here. The Starlights are not going to be able to stop this. Again, the Starlights are really hampered by their own, by their 180-degree shots, so they're not going to be able to turn around and actually kill these Jaguars. They're going to sweep in from behind and take them out, potentially. As if the blue Jaguars don't stop them first. I expect they will be able to clean that up with the Tiger tanks coming in as well. They're just sort of sandwiching them. But Resbots, I would love to see Resbots come down and take this. There's so much metal here. There is a absolute ridiculous amount. In fact, you've got helicopter already producing Resbots here. You've got 35,000 metal in this one spot. Oh dear. So the blue team really needs to get more damage done here, because this is, I don't think this is enough. No Cargonautes. No, it's producing demons. Producing demons. Demons are a much better unit here. I really don't... Cargonautes are okay, but they're just a bit slow. They're not the best unit in the world. Well, they are amphibious, I believe. I believe they can go underwater. They can, of course, climb up here to the top. So they can climb up sheer cliff faces like that, but they are not going to be able to use that particularly well. As you can see, blue player is now going to pull back, and that's simply to stop giving wreckage to the enemy player. In fact, you've got a Jaguar stuck there on the wreckage. There is a significant amount of metal here. As you can see in the top, I've got a little widget enabled here that is going to show the resources, etc. So metal per second is the metal income per second. Bearing in mind that Sussy Worm and the front players have been taken out, as well as the pond player. So that is all of that economy down the drain. But the reclaim is going to make this go through the roof. As you can see there, to 900 metal a second going into that team. The blue players have retreated. So Cyphos has retreated with his units. He's going to group them up here, and it is now time for the red team, or I should say the yellow team now, to start the push. It's got Razorbacks out here. There's just a significant amount of metal gone into the economy of this team. You can see there, helicopter actually banking up 12,000 metal. There's so much metal. All he needs to do now is get a bit more build power down, produce it into units. Of course, it's going to overflow into his teammate, who is also producing... Oh, he is producing Cargonautes. I mean, I guess they're okay. I mean, it's better than not spending the metal. I will say that. Better than not spending the metal. But, Bansum are actually coming in through with Salamanders. I think it's a little bit late for Salamanders. They're great if you can get them up early. It's actually got a bot lab coming up as well, which I do like to see, actually. Like to see the bot lab coming up there, producing potentially even a T2, and then trying to pincer attack with the push from the middle. Blossom actually pulling it. I don't like that at all. Not only have you got less fighters there, you're over the enemy AA. So the enemy's actually going to be able to bring AA into the battle there as well, and you're just going to lose that. A little bit of a throwaway of the fighters there. Unfortunately, this team now no longer has any fighter wall. So they need to be very careful about a bombing run coming through and dealing a ton of damage. Cargonaut's actually just going to push up alone. I'm not a fan of this at all. As you can see, there's no vision There isn't even radar, so he's not going to be able to tell what's going on there. This is the point where I would like to see tick spam from each side, and that's just to provide vision and a little bit more information regarding the whereabouts of the units. He's going to try and jump on the Karganath with ticks. Ticks doing a significant amount of damage actually. That just shows you how powerful that flanking bonus is that you get from the Karganath, from being either side of the Karganath. It's 200%, so it's double damage, which is lovely. You've got some naval fusion reactors coming down here. While they are not particularly efficient, I would say to pretty much everyone stay away from the naval fusions. I mean, they've got so much metal, they really don't need to worry about it, really, do they? In fact, there's a massive number of marauders coming up here. He's going to go through. I would like to see a Juno a lot down here on the island, so the Juno's got a decent line of fire to clear out all of those mines. He should know that there are mines here. There's pretty much always mines at this point. Karganath actually going down there. I'd like to see him have waited and actually pushed with the main push. I would much prefer to see the marauders coming up through here, simply because he does have the naval units still dealing with these land units and provides him a decent spot. In fact, it's going to bring Cyforce is going to bring the Starlights down to actually deal with these units finally. That just allows another. He's actually managed to get a Juno off. Where has he built this? Where has he built the Juno? I'm not 100% sure where the Juno is, but it managed to get line of sight. A lot of the times, if you try and Juno from the mainland, it's going to clip this this cliff face here. But he's managed to get it through. It's going to do a significant amount of damage with these marauders. Can, I have no idea, hold this off with his commander. He's going to have to degun. He's going to have to pull some magic out of a hat here. Otherwise, he's going to take a lot of damage. Marauders. They're trapped between a fusion that's going to detonate and a commander. There we go. There's the detonation. Do need to be careful, obviously. If you've got all of your marauders sat next to an isthmus, when it detonates, it is going to do a significant amount of damage, if not take all of the marauders out. In fact, he's even got abductors down here. So the abductors are fantastic. As you can see there, they will freeze the marauders with EMP for a few seconds. In fact, the air's coming in. The air's going to come in and push the abductors back, try and take out as many fighters as they can. And the marauders are going to push up through, and they're going to do a significant amount of damage to Cyforce's economy here. All of these converters are going to go up in flames, as well as potentially even these rows of wind turbines. How far are they going to get, though? You've got Fiends coming in, you've got Jaguars coming in, you've got Grunts coming in, you've got Sprinters coming in. Everything is trying to stop this now. Is he going to be able to push it through, is the question. It looks to me like the air's been cleaned up, so the air's been cleaned up. It did fly over the AA and get absolutely mullered. And so it allows the abductors to come back in and try and EMP. Oh, he managed to get a shot off. That's all those converters gone. Should really have split them up. I don't think they're going to get it. I don't think they're going to get it. Almost. They're so close. They just made it into the base, but they didn't quite manage to deal enough damage. Very good response there from the green player with the abductors. In fact, pulling them back, keeping them alive from the enemy fighters as well, was a fantastic play. In fact, the other marauders are actually going to come in through this way, which I think is a little bit late now. I think pulling the other marauders up through would have been particularly nice. You can even pull them around and come in through here, because this green player does not have too much of a hold down here. But at the same time, the demon, and you've got 4 Karganaths actually coming through. I would much prefer demons in that situation, or even potentially other units. They're going to push through and they're going to try and deal as much damage as possible. As you can see in the top right, we've actually got a little bit of a change. So the red team, even though they've finished reclaiming all of that, is now on top. And that's because they've managed to eliminate this player. They've pretty much eliminated this player, and they have almost eliminated all of Cyforce's energy converters. So it's only got these here, which are... He's still got 68, which is a lot, but he lost a hell of a lot more. See Fiends actually surrounding those Karganaths, taking them down. There's a lot of Starlights here, which could potentially put another push in. Absolute ton of Grunts coming through. Ooh, we're trying to avoid the Jaguars. But again, the Jaguars are very fast, so it's kind of difficult to avoid them. Are they going to be able to push through? You got quite a few slipping through here, actually. You got welders. Welders are a fantastic answer to this. From the, I believe that's purple Leopardus. Yeah, he knows that he's not going to be able to get them through. Welders, again, another lightning unit. Very good for taking down chaff in general, as well as scouts such as ticks. It's because the projectiles actually will hit their primary target and bounce around. And now we have the opposite side of it. So we've got a load of Lazarus coming out from the blue team, going to eat up all the wreckage from that big push. I'd like to see the Lazarus come down here and eat this wreckage as well. In fact, we still got some Razorbacks on the front line, but the abductors are going to come in and immediately freeze them all. That is going to allow all of these sprinters to come in and actually deal with those Razorbacks. We've got a couple fighters here from Pink, but they're a little bit late to the party. We're actually going to take quite a few losses here. I believe the sprinters are shooting at them. I did not realise sprinters could shoot air. There's quite a few units in this game that are able to actually shoot up. In case you didn't know, Pawns are able to shoot up as well. Pawns are actually able to shoot at the enemy air. As well as the T1 cruisers for both sides. So the Riptide, the assault frigates. They're even able to shoot air. They're not very accurate. I will clarify that. They're not very accurate, so I wouldn't rely on them. But oh, those Razorbacks have been pulled. So those Razorbacks that were on the front line, they just got frozen, have been pulled from this side. There's two Razorbacks here, but is helicopter going to realise them? It doesn't look like he has. I mean, they're in radar range. They were in radar range, so he should be seeing them. But I think the Razorbacks are actually going to... Yeah. So he doesn't really need to pull any Razorbacks. The queue of them is just going to eliminate them as they come past. Rattlesnake actually trying to take shots here, and he's building a few Scorpion turrets. It's going to help deal with that grunt push. Got a few more Salamanders coming in here, and even a random poison arrow. Back on the front line, we've got a helicopter. A lot of his naval units have been taken down by the Starlights, but again, a lot of the Starlights have been taken down as well. Need to build that back up. Ooh, who's this? Dinosuchus. Oh, he's building back up. This is something that I do like to see. As you can see, there's 4 players actually dropped from the former red team, now the yellow team. Dinosuchus, on the other hand, he was shared a constructor. It's going to produce a few things up here. Would like to see him shared a Aphis or potentially even a fusion or something, just to help him get up a little bit more. But alternatively, if a player does manage to get taken out, you can provide them with a construction turret, and you can also provide them with units. So there are certain units that actually don't require energy per shot, such as a lot of the grunts and a lot of the pawns. So you can provide them to the player that's been eliminated. They can focus on the A. In fact, a lot of torpedo bombers coming down here and taking that naval fusion out. I believe they were spotted out by the ducks coming from this player, actually. So that Geo has sent ducks all the way down here and to come out here. Were they maybe made by... No, I think they were made by... I have no idea. It was just taken over. So the duck's going to do quite a bit of damage here. Are they able to hit them? They are, aren't they? Or are they not? No, they are. It just takes a little while for their torpedoes to reload, as you can see. Not the greatest unit, but again, they get the job done for what they need for. Massive Razorback push here. Are they going to be able to stop this? Do they have the abductors? No, Blossom needs to get some abductors up, I think. That's going to be your best way to deal with these Razorbacks. There's a lot of Starlights, actually, having said that. There's a lot of Starlights. You can see the lasers coming down, absolutely annihilating the Razorbacks. But are the Razorbacks going to get in range to actually shoot these? I don't think they are. I really don't think they are. That's just too many Starlights. Starlight's one of the few units from T2 that is actually very capable of dealing with T3 units. That's simply because of the extreme damage that they... and extreme range, I must add. The range is much greater than the Razorbacks. Do need to be very careful with them all lined up like that. A little bit of anxiety coming from there. If one of those pops... it's going to go right the way down the line. That's going to be very painful. In fact, if they go down, actually. I don't really see them holding this off. There we go. There's the abductors that I was talking about. He's built a few more coming out from Blossom. It's going to freeze them. It's going to be able to take them down. No problems whatsoever. As you can see, Milk Dragon actually peeling off a bunch of fighters to try and help with that. Are they regular bombers? They are. He's going to go in for a bomber run potentially. So he's going to send the bombers down this side, protect them with the fighters. I think Blossom has managed to regain his fighter count to the point where he's going to be able to hold this potentially. One thing to note, when you are going to take an air battle like this, make sure that you use the fight command rather than the movement command. If you use the movement command, it's going to be a bad day for you, and you're probably going to lose the fight simply because your units won't fire quite as fast. Unfortunately, did choose to go straight over the top of a load of AA. Actually, I believe that was a few of the dead bombers landing. So when the air units do get shot down, the actual corpse of it will continue to move and land on the floor, dealing a little bit of damage. But if you've got enough landing in the same place, you can actually do quite a bit. Actually taking out the build power there. That was a lot of build power actually. I think a lot of build power just went down. Might have even been from bombs down here, potentially. But as you can see, there's a nice hole there from a dead bomber landing. Got some snipers on the front line now. It's to try and deal with the Razorbacks. So while the Starlights are very good, they're not quite as maneuverable. They're a little bit less flexible than snipers. Whereas snipers are a little bit shorter range. They can cloak though. That is one thing to take into account. Let's have a look. Marauders actually rezzed Marauders. So the Marauders that came in up here to attack Cyphos, instead of actually eating them, he's gone and he has resurrected them. He's now going to be sending them to the enemy for a surprise attack. Do they know about this? Does the helicopter know about this? Oh, it's unscouted. Oh, he's only just got the sonar up and the radar. He may have potentially seen a few blue dots coming down from up here. Actually, this scout plane's going to scout it. Is it? Yes, yes. So he sees it. I expect to see a load of pings coming down here. See, Milk Dragon has seen that. As you saw his cursor just there. So that's something that they are going to have to respond to. In fact, he's even got abductors already. He's already got abductors up ready for them to come onto the shore. The Marauders do have an anti-air attack. It's not particularly great, if I'm honest with you. The abductors are not going to have any issues dealing with them whatsoever. Tarnosuka's coming back in with an advanced fusion. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. What is that? It's a duck. J2 man. That's not the right colour. A duck has managed to sneak... Oh, a duck has managed to sneak past the ones that took out this. It's come right the way around, and it's come all the way up, and it's going to do a significant amount of damage here. Oh, I don't think you want to be taking that out with a Lich. I don't think a Lich is going to be the right thing to take that out with. I was actually going to reclaim it with the construction turrets. Oh, that's a shame. Could have done a lot more damage there with all these windmills sat together. Oh, dear. If he had come in here and just destroyed a couple of these windmills, that would have been the entire block go up in flames. Oh, that would have been satisfying to see. Just a lone hero duck. Got some decoy commanders coming out here. Actually, two Karganas and a demon actually rerouted down to this shoreline to stop the grunts coming up, to actually deal with the factory that was on there. Got some decoy commanders coming in. Now, decoy commanders, they don't seem particularly great at first, but one thing to note is they are cloaked, so you can cloak them. They are actually very cheap to cloak as well, compared to a lot of the other things. And they can also produce mines. So while they do not have a D-gun like regular commanders, if you do manage to get them, say, into the backline with a transport, that's a massive engagement coming down here. The demons are pushing. Are they going to push through? I don't believe so. It's too many Starlights and too many snipers. I think they're just going to fall. As you can see here, they're taking significant amounts of damage and they're just melting. Yeah, he's going to try and pull them back, he's noticed. Got a few catapults, actually. They're an okay unit, I think. Decent for this point. But it's going to be very, very difficult to hold that. What was that? Not 100% sure what that was. Although you would have seen it, because I would put it in a screen up in the top left. Was it maybe a decoy commander? I believe that one's going to be spotted by the radar planes above. Was it spotted by the radar planes? It will not allow me to transfer player view. Oh, so it's... They still don't have pinpointers up. So he's going to have to actually get in range with grunts in order to see it properly. So you saw just there, they could see it, but they're having issues shooting it. In the T2, there is the pinpointers. I believe they're called pinpointers. He's got tracers to reveal invisible units in the area. I just want to clarify those tracers are only for a certain area. So as you can see, the white line going around there, that is the area of the tracer. So anything outside of that area, they're not going to be able to help you on. Whereas the pinpointers in the T2, it's actually got a few Junos there as well. Love to see it. Big fan of that unit. If I can find a T2 constructor, T1, T1, T2. Where is it? There it is, pinpointer. Yep. So 4 of those is enough to make your team as accurate as possible with radar range. So when I mentioned about them missing, oh, I've somehow managed to miss a Juggernaut being produced, actually coming up here. It's going to be attacked by the Liches. The Liches need to be careful because the Juggernaut is tall enough that if the Liches target this directly, then the nuclear bomb that they drop is actually going to deal damage to them. They're actually going to just drop it on the decoy commander there. So when you're targeting stuff like Juggernauts or Aphises with Liches, you want to be aiming for either slightly to the side, slightly in front, or potentially even bringing them in at a different angle. So as you can see, you can sort of bring them in, drop the bomb, and then immediately move them out. He's going to bring his commander in. There's no need to bring the commander in. I think the Lich is going to clean that up there. And the explosion goes off, and he actually takes quite a few Liches with him. This is a hectic game. There's a massive push with Thors coming through. Are they going to be able to hold this? I don't think they are. They've got a Thor of their own, which they produced a little while ago, and I didn't see push at all. But it's mainly demons. One of the things... I genuinely think the Thors might be the strongest units in the game. They have a Tesla weapon, which is fantastic against any sort of light unit or chaff or anything. And they also have an EMP missile. So if you can see the second bar, in fact, you can see there that that Thor actually has a rocket loaded. As they immediately get nuked by a load of Liches. You can see Blossom coming in with his... In fact, he's baiting. Blossom's baiting the enemy. So you got 2 players from the yellow team in air. Blossom is actually going to try and bait them over the anti-air units in the army. I believe he's got a couple. I'd like to see a few more being pushed with this push to actually stave off the Lich attacks. In fact, all the Thors have been cleaned up. As I was saying with the Thors, you can see actually that one's got a missile loaded as well. On the bottom, you can see stockpile 1 of 2, so they can hold 2 missiles, and they are actually EMP missiles, and they have a very good range. So if you click the launch button, which the shortcut is D, and you launch it and it hits a T3 unit that does not have resistance to EMPs, you are going to completely disable it. So catapults, obviously Juggernauts cannot be disabled, but other things such as those catapults and the demons on the front line would be completely useless and at the mercy of the Thors to destroy. This push is absolutely massive. Large amount of sumos coming in here. Love to see it. As you can see, the laser tanks making short work of those grunts and the spam. The chaff coming in. The Juggernaut's going to be difficult to deal with, but I believe the Thors can just ignore it. I don't think the Juggernaut's going to be able to clean this up before the Thors get into the back line. The build power is gone. That Juggernaut is not going to be able to come out. I would like to see a few of the... Yep, there we go. The Geo got taken down along with the advanced... my brain is melting right now. A lot of the economy is going to be going down there. The energy converters, sorry. Massive air wall coming in for a attack on the blue player. A little bit of lag there as there was a lot of explosions. Unfortunately, the green player is going to be able to clean that up magnificently. And in fact, the Thors are just going to continue pushing. The Aphises did go down. It's going to push through into Helicopter's base. His original base, actually. In fact, there goes the Juggernaut as well. I believe it took a Thor with it. But Absolutely phenomenal game there. Completely and utterly action-packed. Almost swang both ways in the beginning. Was very close to being a yellow victory with those Marauders coming up. While I don't think the Marauders would have done a massive amount of damage, simply because Cyphos actually had quite a lot of build power and of infrastructure down on the lower area where he was building the Starlights from. I believe this still would have done a ton of damage actually coming through and actually taking out the green player as well, potentially. So very well played there with the reactions to that. As you can see there, Cyphos doing absolutely everything. Absolutely fantastic game. Just going to pause it quick so it doesn't give any of the epileptic viewers an issue. In case you don't know, if you don't pause it after the game finishes to look at the graphs, when people leave, they start blinking rapidly and it is horrifying. Anyway, metal used. We're going to see some large graphs here. You can see helicopter. I believe that was where he took over. I understand that you can't see my mouse actually because I got rid of it. You can see at the 24-22 mark, you can see that he took over and the yellow line just shot straight up into the atmosphere. Cyphos doing very well from the start, along with a few of the others, trying to just sort of slightly behind him. Got Blossom coming up just behind him in the air position. Bear in mind, he was making a lot of aircraft, so that's one thing. Energy used, on the other hand, you can see Cyphos used a ridiculous amount of energy. And I'd argue that's simply because of all of the energy converters that he had going. You can see, can't really see too much of a... Where is energy excess, energy received, energy stored? You can't really see it in the post game, unfortunately. But I was going to say, see if we can see the point at which the Marauders came through and actually took out his energy converters, but unfortunately it doesn't show it on the graphs. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed that one, feel free to give it a like. Feel free to subscribe, or if not, that's fine. If you do have any pointers, please feel free to give them to me in the comments. This is still my third cast, so I'm going to continue to try and improve, and I shall see you in the next one.